guys, it's Theresa here of Larkin Design, and welcome to my Bermuda album. Today I'm working on layout 7. It's called Destiny, and I'm working with the Studio Calico documenter kit called Written in the Stars. And I knew, as soon as that kit came in my mail, I knew that I wanted to use it in this album somehow. Written in the Stars is kind of based on your destiny and what is meant to be. And I can't imagine a more fitting kit to use in an album about starting a new life together. And so it's really inspired. The colors are beautiful. They're very soft and muted, which fits within my design concept for the Bermuda album. I wanted to use softer pastel colors, more muted colors, to let the organic colors in Bermuda pop in the photos themselves. And so, speaking of photos, the photos I'm working with today are from inside the hotel. And interestingly enough, I didn't get any photos of our hotel room, but I did take a couple in the common spaces and the lobby. And so there are a couple here that are from the lobby, and I just wanted to maintain or carry through a feel for what the hotel felt like that we stayed at. We spent a lot of time at the hotel. We also spent a lot of time outside of the hotel, so there'll be a lot of photos coming up from Bermuda itself and from around the island. But I did want to just spend a couple of layouts conveying the feeling of the hotel and how much we enjoyed staying there. It is the Grotto Bay on Bermuda, and so when I was working on this card, this is the center card of the layout, and at first I thought I was going to use the white card with the mint green writing, and then after I cut it here, I flipped it over and realized that I liked the white writing on the mint green instead. So I'm going to tape that down real quick. And so some filming notes today. You'll notice that I have a foam board propped up behind my desk. The sun has moved for the spring and summer. It's moved to around the front of the house in the mornings, which is great for the flower beds and fantastic for the light, but not so great for casting shadows on my desk. And so even if I close the curtains, then I lose the light, and if I close the blinds, I get the little dots where the string goes up the blinds, and so you'll see those. You'll see some shadows and some glints of light on my desk today from filming. It was impossible to avoid that, and I'll be honest and say that if I waited for the lighting situation to be perfect in my studio, then no filming would ever get done. So I'm just going to go with it and keep on moving. I hope you guys don't mind too much. It's not really bothersome, and I don't think that it shows on the layout itself. I don't think there's any glare on the layout itself, other than at the very beginning. So, but it's okay. It's part of filming, and working with lighting and glare is just enough to make you want to pull your hair out sometimes. But I think it's important just to go ahead and film anyway, and create anyway, and keep going. Just keep creating, and don't worry about whether it's perfect or not. I know you guys aren't watching for my stellar filming capabilities here. So anyway, I'm just working across the layout here. Some of the other embellishments that I'm using today are the destination stamp from One Little Bird that is available at Studio Calico as well. And then I have some embellishments from Freckled Fawn. I have some vellum stickers and some washi tapes and some felt flowers. I don't know why I've been totally inspired by those little felt flowers lately. I used them the other day on a layout I published last week, I think. And they're so sweet. So they're just nice little layering pieces. So those are fun. And then there's some flair in the Studio Calico kit. And I had pulled out the stars, but I didn't use those on this layout yet. I love them and I can't wait to use them, but I don't know how that's going to happen just yet. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to try to use that kit one more time. I know the May kit is on its way to me, and so I'm trying to use that one. I don't ever use them all the way up, but I am trying to use it before the May kit comes in. So that's usually just sort of how it goes. And then, you can see here where I have that mint green square now in the center of the layout. And then it's layered on top of the card that was really light, but it has gold embossed stars on it. And I cut that in half. That was a 4x6 card, and I cut it in half. I hope I don't regret doing that. But in my humble opinion, I always would rather use something when I have an opportunity to use it, even if it means cutting it down or adapting it for something other than what it was intended, to go ahead and use it and then not have any regrets. Because it's better to use it rather than save it for quote unquote the perfect opportunity, and the perfect opportunity never comes. And then you've just stashed this pretty card and never used it, and then it's not pretty in your stash anymore. So anyway, or you lose interest or just whatever. I don't know. So my journaling in this layout really focused on this idea of beginning a new life together, and how we landed in this strange island, although it felt very much like home. And it's sort of how our relationship began as well. It was strange as heck and awkward, but it just felt like home. And we got here on this island in this beautiful hotel in this idyllic setting, and like, what an awesome way to start a new life together. And I have to say that I really found some peace in working with this kit and being able to process this trip in that way, to feel that excitement of being in a new place and being in a new relationship, and being together and knowing that it was meant to be. And the funny thing is that when we landed on that island, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if we were supposed to be there or not. I had a lot of anxieties. I have a lot of travel anxieties. I don't travel very often. I don't travel easily. It was hard for me to get on that plane, but I did it. And and it was hard for us to make the decision to start our life together. But we did it, and never look back, right? And now we know, like, it was just meant to be. So it's kind of nice, it's kind of nice just to reflect on that and take just a few sentences and write that down. It's something that I didn't really expect to happen, and don't you just love that? It happened when I was working on the Disney album too, where these little things came through in the journaling that I didn't really expect, and that were really nice. Sometimes the journaling seems overwhelming, especially in a project that you're working on from the past, because you worry that you're not going to remember enough things, right? That's the common fear. And I actually have to say that fear is just kind of feels ridiculous now that I've been through the Disney album and going through this album as well, because even though we might not remember specifics, right? Like, I might not remember specifically what day I took these specific photos on, but I remember how I feel, how I felt. And I know now, right? And when we actually sit down and do the journaling, then we get to write more, and we get to actually put into words what was going on, right? And sometimes we don't know that immediately when we get back home. My journaling probably would have read a whole lot different when we got back home. So having some time away gives you time to process it as well. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, this is really funny what happened here. I was using these little epoxy stickers from Freckled Fawn, and at first it was cutting. I wanted it to go off the edge of the card, and at first it was cutting kind of easy, and then when I got into it, it was harder and harder, and then it popped right off. And it kind of scared me a little bit, but I was laughing, and it kind of hurt my hand a little bit too, but I was laughing at that too because it was just kind of funny. Don't worry, those scissors are old and they've been used to cut so many different things that they're not sacred or anything like that. So I didn't ruin the scissors. I didn't ruin the epoxy stickers. I don't know if I would try that again. I don't know if I would recommend cutting those flower stickers. But notice that I did not cut the other sticker that I put on that card. I decided that cutting the one sticker was probably enough for one day. So there you go. There's my superpowers for today, cutting those epoxy stickers. Okay, so I'm going to continue just finishing up a little bit more journaling here. It looks like I wrote journaling on 3 cards on this layout. Like, do you ever wonder, is this enough journaling? Is this not enough journaling? I do sometimes. I admit, I go back after I'm done and go, is that enough journaling? So go with what you feel, right? And I always tell people, especially when you're doing an album like this, see the journaling not as one big chunk of text, but all the little bits and pieces. Every journaling card fits in and is a part of the whole. And so if you were to take all the journaling that you do across one album and put it into one document, it will probably be several pages long, right? But we don't see it as several pages long because we're doing it a little bit at a time. And the important thing is just to write what you feel. Write what you feel like writing. Write a little bit about, I think Allie Edwards is the one who talks about writing facts and feelings. Write about the facts of where you are, the day it is, who, what, where, when, why. Right? And then write about the feelings as well. How do you feel? How do you feel today about what happened then? How do you feel today about what you were doing or where you were at? And then don't overthink it, right? Then just let it be what it is. So I wrote on 3 journaling cards. I probably wrote the equivalent of 1 paragraph here, and that's awesome. Like, that's plenty. Go with that and be happy with what you did get to write. Now, I have to admit that I really, really liked these chipboard stickers that were in the Documenter kit, and they're very Allie Edwards inspired. They remind me a lot of the chipboard packs that came in the Allie Edwards story kits. So it's kind of nice to use those and include those here in the layout. They're just some basic shapes, some nice little sayings and quotes that fit in really well. I also had these labels from Freckled Fawn, and those crepe paper stickers. I didn't ever use those. So yeah, I think that about wraps up this layout today. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope that you had fun watching this process. Be sure and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And then I'll see you back here again soon. Thanks again, you guys. Bye-bye.